today we're gonna get into the routine of filming as much as I possibly can. My hair is super frizzy today. I've noticed I've been wearing a lot of Taylor Swift shirts in these videos. You guys didn't know, but in the last video I was wearing a daylight shirt. So yeah. Anyways, I'm in my dad's Jeep. My car is there. I just don't feel like moving his car to then get my car. We're gonna go to Joann's because there's one color of one color of yarn that I need, and we're gonna go to the store. Yeah. I didn't explain what we were doing. We're making an Animal Crossing craft. We're gonna make the bells from Animal Crossing. Don't know if this part's gonna stay in there. I might do a better intro. Alright, let's go to the store! So yes, you heard me correctly in the intro. We will be making an Animal Crossing craft, specifically a bell. No, not this type of bell. The bell I'm speaking of is this bell, the monetary value of the Animal Crossing world. Even though, you know, Isabella is literally a bell. So, yeah. But even if you go on YouTube and you search how to get bells fast, there are plenty of videos, thousands if not millions, describing how to get bells. But the real question remains, how do you make a bell? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a bell pouch today. Bells have always been a thing in the Animal Crossing world since the very first game, and with the new game coming out, Animal Crossing New Horizons, I can't wait. So let's get right on to the craft. For this project, you're going to need a blanket yarn. I am using the color Vintage White. I wish I would have gone a little bit more yellow in the color, but this is all I could find that wasn't too yellow. I'll be using a classic red from Sugar and Cream, and I will also be using a brown that I've had for about 10 years at this point. To fill my piece, instead of using cotton balls like I did for my Pokeball, I'll be using fiberfill like a normal human. You will also need knitting looms. Specifically, you are going to need an infant-size knitting loom. What that means is that it's a loom to make hats for infants. As you can see, it's roughly the size of my hand. You're going to go ahead and you're going to take your blanket yarn and make a slip knot and attach it to the first peg on your knitting loom. Now you can go ahead and create your first row by wrapping your blanket yarn around each peg, making sure the front of the loop is facing outwards. Pushing them all down to be even, this is what your loom should look like at this point. And you're going to go ahead and repeat this step and make a second row on your pegs all the way around. Go ahead and secure your extra yarn around the base peg and take your yarn hook, and you're going to go ahead and create your first chain by looping the first row over the second row. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, I have a chain count going on. This way, as myself, I knew what chain I was on because I have a habit when I'm doing projects of not keeping count of my chains or just not paying attention to what I'm doing and just going with the flow and going with what feels right. Once your first chain is completely done, you should have something that looks similar to this. Then you want to go ahead and make your third row. This continues onto another chain that will become your second chain. Before beginning your third chain, go ahead and take that slip knot off your first peg. You're going to go ahead and you're going to pass it through the loom this way. It's on the inside of the loom as you're knitting. Now, as past me goes ahead and continues on with the chains, I figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit about Animal Crossing and whatnot. Animal Crossing has always been a huge game in my life. I started playing during Wild World, and if you didn't know, Wild World was the first Animal Crossing game introduced on a DS. And I had no clue what the game was. All I remember is I had my DS for about a month at this point, and the GameStop guys said, yeah, this game's really popular in Japan, maybe you'd like it. It has a lot of reading though in it. And I just took it home and I fell in love with it. So if you've never played Animal Crossing and you're thinking about trying it, I highly recommend getting the new game, hoping it's good. Animal Crossing is really just a relaxing game to help you and just relax and calm down, and I just wish Nintendo would put more time into the fans for this game. I am working on the final chain at this very moment. This is chain number 16. You're going to go ahead and make sure everything's tightened up at this point. Go ahead and take your leftover yarn and wrap it fully one time around your loom. And this is a personal choice that I do just to make sure that once everything's ready to be taken off the loom, everything's all nice and neat. Go ahead and take a ribbon or a piece of paper and you're going to pass whatever leftover yarn you have through a yarn needle. This part takes a little getting used to, but you're going to go ahead and you're going to pass your needle through each individual loop that's on every single peg. Make sure you pull tightly and the loop pops off of the peg. If the loop does not pop off of the peg, you yourself have to make sure you're able to take the loop off the peg without destroying the other chains. Once every single loop is off every single peg, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put the loom off to the side and you're going to pull tightly as if it's a drawstring. Now go ahead and pass your needle back and forth through the hole you've just created, making sure that it's a tight stitch. One last time, pass the needle through the hole, and now you're going to pull through tightly and tie it off to make sure that it's never going to come undone. You can see me here testing out how I would like it closed and how much stuffing I really think it needs. Go ahead and take your polyfiber fill or cotton balls or whatever you're using, fluff it up, and go ahead and stuff it right on in. Now go ahead and take your red yarn. I wish I used a thicker yarn for this, but I doubled it up in the end. Take your yarn, wrap it around to create the ribbon or drawstring of the bag. At this point, you should have something that looks very similar to this. What you're going to go ahead and do now is you're going to loop your brown yarn into your yarn needle, and you're going to try your best to sew an outline of a star onto the front of the bag. Now, you'll be wondering why I don't show much footage of me myself doing this, and that's because it was a very long process to fully fill in the star as well. But not only that, it was also a very difficult process with a lot of learning curves. I've done this method a few times with sewing eyes onto stuffed animals and other things. It's not the most easiest of tasks, nor will it look perfect. If you want to completely skip this step, you can do what I did in my Pokeball video and go ahead and take some brown felt and cut out a star, and then go ahead and either sew or glue that onto the front of the bag. In my Pokeball video, I did this with the button of the Pokeball, where I took some brown and white felt instead of creating a button out of yarn. Honestly, at this point, I was wondering if I was gonna have to scrap the project and completely start over, or think of something else to do for you guys, because making a star was very difficult. But as you can see in this clip, I got there. I finally got it to look nice, probably after about almost an hour of creating the star. So like I said, it's not the most easiest thing in the world. And if you want to help you hide your imperfections, because the base yarn will show through, you could take your yarn needle and start poking at the pieces that are peeking through and try to shove them back underneath the brown star. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like, and if you aren't already, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see next, and if you recreate this project, then please tag me on Instagram or Twitter at TheMagicalAnna. I would love to see if one of you guys recreate this. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I hope you all stay magical, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!